everyone! My name is Luna and I'm here to break down everything that happened in episode 11 of Campaign 4 of Critical Role, Make Merry. This week, Brendan dropped a huge bombshell on the soldiers' table.
In another world, another time, an object like this might have been referred to as a vestige of divergence.
Oh my god! But before we get into that, let's check in with the Seekers table. Tysha, Valus, Octus, Sir Julian, and Lady Aranessa have been travelling for 3 days through the Dol Pass, a dwarven-made highway that was once created for the Obradimian Empire by the Dwarven Kingdoms to allow for aid and trade to travel between the Empire and the Dwarves. Sir Julian is looking worse for wear, having not slept very much over the last few days. He's removed all the markings of his house and is trying to keep a low profile. On the other hand, Tysha is feeling much more like herself, having left behind the version of her that is a family woman, and being on the road and on the hunt is something that she is much more accustomed to and feels comfortable in. Valus is very much on alert, drawing on her previous experiences travelling dangerous lands, although this trip is different as she usually travels alone. She isn't used to travelling in a group, and so she's been keeping her distance from the others. Octus is still trying to grapple with what happened to him and the changes to his body. It's freezing cold and snowing, and while he knows it's snowing and it's cold, he just can't feel it anymore. Ahead, a snowfall has blocked the pass and there is a gathering of people being directed to take a detour. Among the people gathered at the blockage are a few banners of the Revolutionary Council and a banner of House Taconis, so Octus tells the group that they shouldn't go down there.
We don't go down there. They shouldn't go down there.
Why? Down.
Family.
Oh, why on earth would that be a problem? I'm
Which
just
members?
kidding.
Is that the first joke I've ever heard? Okay.
Make jokes all the time. We don't know each other that well yet.
They decide to go through the dwarven town of Adzar to avoid the banners, adding a couple of hours to their journey. They pass by a cliff with shattered statues of the shaper Trojna, goddess of the forge, and the cliff is covered in lanterns and dwarven writing. None of them speak dwarvish, so Tysha approaches a woman praying at one of the shattered statues. She is a follower of Trojna, and she tells Tysha the words say, "Come back." The people of this village are believers, and just like Valus, they are mourning the death of their god. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tysha and Valus navigate a partnership, a friendship maybe, when they both have such differing views on what happened to the gods. With a nat 20 perception, Tysha notices some writing in Druidic tucked behind the shattered statues and realizes this place was originally a holy site of Tahana, the primordial of Earth, and the statues were built to deface it. We later learn that Tahana was the wife of Trojna. Tysha storms back to her horse, disgusted and disconcerted, and confides in Octus what she saw. Lady Aranessa says they should move on and tells Tysha they should just let the people be. Meanwhile, in Dol Makyar, we sit down with the schemers at the table in the Seven Stars Tavern. They all acknowledge how crazy everything has gotten, with Murray suggesting that they pack up and get out of town.
Maybe we should just leave. Maybe we should just abandon this city. Abandon ship. Just run for the hills.
Mary, you know you would never do that.
I know.
Where would you
I'm
go?
too stubborn.
Azane has a list of things he'd like to talk about, starting with what happened at the Brethren Hall, Sir Herondas Einfeisten dismissing most of the guards and the Candescent Creed, recruiting them for a private force. Azane suggests forming their own mercenary group to stop the guards from being scooped up by the Candescent Creed, but Hal points out that is an expensive undertaking. Belair says he can funnel some funds from the building of the new wing at the Arcanard that Lady Amaria requested.
Ooh. I love a little fraud. I love a little embezzlement.
I already do a bit of fraud and embezzlement, and trust me, you have to, even with this chaos, we have to be careful and frugal.
Murray asks why the Sundered Houses are moving so fast, and Hal says before they make any big moves, they really need to find out, just what's actually going on, and they need to find some people they can trust to give them information. Belair says he can arrange for some donors to meet with Hal because he will be a hot social commodity since the death of his brother, and this might be a good way to get intel on what the nobles are up to. Azane also suggests they should enlist some former members of the Revolutionary Guard to report on what's going on inside and to be moles. He later tells Murray that he thinks Einfeisten is onto him, and he gives her the name of someone he trusts that they should approach. A guard for a Sundered House called Varan Cadorn.
I want you to know his name in case I don't come back tomorrow.
You're gonna come back tomorrow.
We don't know that.
What do you have planned? Are you gonna go do something stupid?
Probably.
You shook your head no and then said probably.
just to confuse you. I hope it worked.
Oh,
You and I are in the same boat, okay?
I know.
Dean Cora is also very much on me. And I think one of the first things that I'm gonna have to do as part of this grand plan that we're all planning is I'm gonna have to go and apologize. It's the worst thing. I hate it.
I'm looking forward to that scene of Murray groveling. Murray tells Azane that the only way they're going to get through this is to pretend to be one of them and to use their positions to get knowledge from the inside. Hal says he knows an attending maid to House Einfeisen. She's the sister to someone in his company, but he's hesitant to put her in any danger. He also mentions a woman, though, married into House Daconis called Bettine, who visits their social club, and apparently she's a gossip and a flirt and might be useful. Azane says they might be able to use her to plant some mistrust within the Daconis ranks. Murray says she can also reach into her black market networks, as it's likely the nobles will also be using those channels if they're engaging in underhanded activity. While they are talking, they notice a couple of people at the bar who are dressed for a gala, very much overdressed for this establishment. Hal and Belair go over to speak to them and learn they are Oris Blade and Lady Camilla. Oris is from a wealthy merchant family who sells ceramics. Hal turns on the charm and asks them what occasion they are dressed for, and Lady Camilla enthusiastically explains that they arrived at the Palazzo Divinos for a party, only to find the place completely empty.
Found the banquet tables laid out and a massive banner flying high above some tapestries saying, "Our final feast hosted in the city of Dol Makyar. May all have safe passage to the realms beyond. We await our brothers and sisters in Fairy." They've done it!
So, this seems to be the cover-up the Daconis are using to explain the absence of Royce and Divinos from society. While they have made a big move on their house, they clearly don't want people to know they were behind it just yet. There's clearly a lot of intrigue going on among the Sundered houses, and it can get a bit confusing working out who is who and what's happening. So I've actually just started a mini-series over on my Patreon where I'm going to be breaking down what we know about the Sundered houses so far. And this week I covered how the Sundered houses interact with the Revolutionary Council, and I also did a deep dive into the Halovars. So if you want to check it out, you can follow the link in the description or go to patreon.com/Luboffin. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my patrons, as well as welcome new patrons, HollyMax79 or returning patron, and AK4708. Again, you can sign up at patreon.com/Luboffin or head to the link in the description to get that bonus video and all the other bonus videos that I've made. Lady Camilla is clearly scandalized and enjoying gossiping about the palazzo, but Oris is much more reserved and shares with Hal a disturbing scene in which a man came to the gates of the palazzo crying to be let in as his daughter, who works in the house, hasn't returned. The man was dragged away and the people at the party didn't seem to care. Oris is clearly on edge, with Murray noticing that he is holding a breakable spell glyph for see invisibility, and he sort of seems paranoid and rattled. Hal asks Oris to pass on any information that he hears about what happened, which causes Oris to snap his spell ward and look around suspiciously. He replies that Hal should know more than him, being Thjazi's brother, and that while he himself comes from money, he isn't like the others, and he knows what Thjazi meant. When Oris snaps the spell glyph, this makes Azane remember the spell glyph Thjazi had. It was supposed to cast Misty Step so he could escape, and we later found out that it was actually a forgery and wouldn't have worked. But Azane realizes in this moment that Thjazi didn't even try and break it. He still has it, and it's intact. Thjazi either knew it was fake or something stopped him from using it. So let's cast our mind back to episode 1, because right before Thjazi died, he saw a falcon in the sky, which scared him.
As he looks out and sees something and panics, he goes, "No, no." He looks at you. You have to.
Tell me what to do.
Murray, you gotta help Murray. The Pentevril, you have to help her. There's paint waiting for you with Bolaire.
It's odd that seeing a falcon caused him panic if it was a symbol of the rebellion that he began. Some people have interpreted this as a sign or a spirit appearing to escort him to the afterlife, so seeing it appear is when he knew he was about to die. He had recently acquired artifacts related to the underworld and the afterlife. There was the Stone of Night Song and the halfling coffin that was delivered to Belair, so he may have had knowledge of how souls are passed on. We also saw in episode 7 that the Lady Univir Daconis was very interested and I think concerned when she learned he saw a falcon.
He saw that fucking falcon. He always believed. And you see that Univir, who hasn't spoken, whips her head over and says, "Falcon. He saw a Thalgin.
Perhaps the Taconis had done something to make sure Thjazi wasn't reborn or wasn't in the underworld where he could continue to fight them, but the sign of a falcon means that he was. I don't know. Let me know your theories about this in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. It would be pretty awesome if they end up traveling to the underworld to find Thjazi there and, he's still fighting. I feel like that really fits what we know of his character too. We say goodbye to the schemers and head back over to Tybreeze Lee, where the soldiers are looking through the dungeons of the castle, trying to work out what the Taconis were up to. In this chamber are pulleys and ropes to bind the captives into certain poses before turning them to stone, and there are also dress-ups, fine clothing to dress them in. The group is confused as to why until they realize that nobles want statues that just look nice. Among the papers is some writing that says, "Say exactly these words. Warrior, tell me true. Do the dead draw near?" Tayor looks closer at Sid's face and sees a look there that he recognizes, a look his father would get when he was searching for something. Later in the episode, Tayor levels up and casts Divine Sense and realizes that Sid has the same look on his face as when Tayor uses his own paladin abilities. He has a hunch about the statues and asks Thimble,
Say it out loud.
Warrior, tell me true. Do the dead draw near?
You see, and now to all of you, visible light emerges from the eyes of these stone statues.
Yep, they're sentries.
Motherfuck, that's cool as shit.
all of the statues are paladins who have this ability. So why go to all this effort? Well, I think this might be connected to the privatization of the armed forces and the fact that the Sundered Houses can't operate without the arcane marshals, who are essentially paladins with these kinds of abilities. The Sundered Houses don't have those abilities, so Einfeisen essentially said as much to Azane in episode 2.
The arcane marshals is extremely effective at a, shall we say, type of safety of the peoples of Dol Makyar that cannot be easily recreated by any other division.
Perhaps these statues are a way for the Sundered Houses to start gaining access to those abilities without using the arcane marshals. That's my theory at least, but please let me know if you have another one in the comments. Tayor asks Cadogan to harvest some blood and organs from the basilisk, which he does so that they can take them to someone who might be able to create an antidote or cure. There are antidotes within easy reach, however they are only for the early stages of petrification and have to be administered immediately, so they won't be able to undo the petrification. Amongst the papers, the group also finds some letters between Lord Docet Taconis and Sir Saramai. Most of them are quick messages, and it's hard for the group to pass what they are about without any context, but there are some places mentioned. Houndsport in Ganalier, which is a northern region of Timony, a note that they were travelling to the Bay of Garethai, I hope I'm saying that right. I can't quite remember. Which is a sea quite far away, eternally shrouded in mist, so thick that ships often get lost within it. There are also two names, Trumus Taconis and Captain Lantry Ferris of the Spurring. Before leaving, they loot the braces that belong to Lady Aranes's brother, a pouch with 60 gold pieces, and Sir Saramai's sword. Meanwhile, Tyranny has been quite upset at Wick, feeling that he abandoned her in the battle.
Well, let me ask you something, Wick. You were hanging out with that dog, and you let me go ahead and almost get fucking stoned. So I'm assuming you're a dog person now, and I'd like to use disguise self and turn myself into a dog.
Well,
bark, bark.
I wasn't hanging out with the dog. I was trying to set.
Can't understand you. I'm a fucking dog.
I actually love how petty and dumb this is. Like, she went from only, I don't know, a day ago being so sweet and kind to him when he almost died to feeling jealous and angry when she felt he wasn't being attentive enough to her. And I think we're really starting to see now the depth of feeling that Tyranny has for Wick, and I think she doesn't even know it herself or wants to acknowledge it. And we can really see this in an absolutely devastating scene later in the episode when they're resting around the campfire. In that scene, Tyranny praises Wick for everything he's done over the last few days and how far he's come.
It's only been a couple days and you've already decided to lead a full-fledged revolt on your family, man. I think that you're doing a good job.
Well, I felt very vulnerable around you, and it made me really realize that I miss Arma so much. And I think she's out there somewhere, and I can find her.
Yeah, we should get her. We should get her. Let's get Arma.
Good night.
Oh, Sam Riegel, how dare you? He knew exactly what he was doing, and Whitney played that so well. You know, I didn't really ship these two at first, but I'm starting to see some glimmers there. You know, I think they're really lining up for a, like, I didn't realize I was in love with you until it was too late moment from Wick. You know, that would be so juicy if he, like, finally realizes that he's in love with Tyranny when it's too late, when she's moved on or she's been pulled back into the pit. Ugh, the heartbreak. I don't know why, but I just yearn to suffer when it comes to love stories. All my favorite, like, love stories are so tragic. Anyway, back in the dungeons, they dress themselves in the livery of the Taconis guards, and Tyranny disguises herself into the captain of the guard. They take the cart and begin to lead the horses, pulling it up the ramp, but with a nat 1, the wheel is damaged and it won't last long. If they want to take these statues out of the city, they will need to find a new cart. Outside, in the castle grounds, Tyranny learns that less is more when it comes to deception.
You see the guards say, I see all the statues loaded up. Do they require additional aid downstairs?
No. No.
Oh.
And the group begin to head back into Tybree's Lee. They haven't been on the road long when they are joined by the Hounds of the King, Dame Morgaine, Sir Feltower, and Sir Hawkins. They immediately recognize the petrified hound who is called Groveland. The group tell them everything they discovered in the dungeons, and Dame Morgaine wonders how much the Earl knows of this. It's clear that she suspects him, but until there is evidence of his involvement, she won't accuse him. They discuss what to do with the statues, and the Hounds offer to take them along the Miller's Road, which the soldiers agree to, but they actually decide to take Sid with them back to Dol Makyar to seek the help of Murray and Belair. Before they can do that, though, they need a new cart, so the Hounds take them to the granary, where the people there offer a carriage and horses. Dame Morgaine tells the group that this gift would have fetched 250 gold in the market and asks if they can leave something in thanks. Wick says they will pay what they're worth and spends 150 of his own gold and 100 of the party funds. Before they depart, Thimble asks if Dame Morgaine has heard any further news about the Royce family, but she has not. She tells Thimble,
Hope is not a condition of the world, but one of the soul. I have not yet seen anything fall so far that it has gone past the point of recall. One life ends, but the world asks us back in a new name, in a new guise, in a new life, time and time again. Do not lose hope.
That's right.
I love the Hounds so much. I really, really hope we see them again. The group travel out of the city under the Hounds' pass without trace spell and find a place to set up camp for the night to discuss their plans and to give us a classic Critical Role campfire scene. So exciting. Since all of them, except for Cadogan, have targets on their backs in Dol Makyar, Teo actually suggests that Cadogan travel alone into the city with Sid, as it might be easier for him to pass by unnoticed and to reach Belair and Murray. Cadogan says he will if they want him to, but it's their decision and he leaves the group for them to discuss it. Wick isn't very keen on the idea of splitting up and says they should all go back. He thinks he might be able to find someone in the Halo Vase who can help them, and he also apologizes for not being as tough as all of them and being somewhat of a burden. Eventually, the group decide they will all travel back to Dol Makyar, and Thimble heads to the fire to tell Cadogan of their decision, saying he can't shake them off that easy. He says he wasn't trying to, and he likes them. Thimble then asks,
Why did you leave before?
We have to be more specific. I've left a lot.
After the battle.
Oh, we're taking it way back.
He just disappeared.
Yeah. I have to ask Taylor about that. I just know it's time for me to go. Nothing personal. Nothing against the cause. I thought the Aussie was great. Hey. I wasn't my best back in the city.
No.
No. But, I know you loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough to love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teo spends some time with his brother's statue and takes his wooden lion head amulet and places it in the palm of his brother's hand.
The stars remember. Before the gods rose and fell, before the wars began, our ancestors roared beneath the same stars you see now. They still watch, still listen. And when you doubt yourself, look up. Their strength still runs in your veins.
Teo thinks about when they were both young and has a memory of Sid falling over and busting up his knees so bad that Teo had to carry him back to their father, who spoke about strength and the stars and why there is still magic in the world when the gods are gone.
Their strength still runs in your veins. The stars remember, my little Teo.
Despite this memory, Teo feels more unsure than ever of what path to follow. Meanwhile, Cadogan pulls Tyranny aside and talks to her about when she took Ulbid's knife, asking how she felt. I think he was expecting her to say that she felt bad, but she says she felt really good knowing that she hurt someone. But she did also feel bad when Cadogan yelled at her because it's someone that she cares about. Cadogan tells her that who you think you are and what you do can be two different things, and he apologizes for taking the knife, recognizing that it wasn't a good way to teach the lesson he wanted to teach her. In the time since, he has made a new handle from bone and rubbed it with flowers to give it a pink hue, and he gives it back to her.
Now, I made this for you. I'm not an artist, but I got a craftsman's touch. And I want to give it back to you for one reason, and one reason only. You took it, and your choices have weight. So tonight you're going to carry that weight. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. I've never had much of an eye for magic, but it belongs to you, and it's not right that I have it. I'm going to flip it around in my hand, hold it by the blade, hand out the handle to her. You gonna take it?
God, this is so fucking cool. Cadogan.
What?
Thank you. And your faith in me really means a lot. I'm very afraid of you, and I think you're really cool. And I feel the weight of this dagger. It is like white hot in my hands with the pain of this man that I caused.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to let you down. But I think I would have taken the knife again.
Well, here's the thing about kids. They always miss the lesson the first time.
Tyranny attunes to the knife and gets so lost in it and drawn to it. And as she attunes, she knows that she is made of something older than time, something that was waiting for the world to be made so that she can destroy it, and she knows she's here to hurt the world. Ouch, yikes. She sees a memory of Ulbid's wife cutting food for a child, an act of love and hope. This knife is an instrument of love, and she feels a seething jealousy for humanity. As she attunes, Brennan drops this bombshell.
But its final form eludes you. For indeed, in another world, in another time, an object like this might have been referred to as a vestige of divergence. But here, you're just a demon holding a kitchen knife that you stole from a little old gnome.
God, I wish I knew what that was. It sounds so sick.
I absolutely love that everyone at the table was just like, while Whitney was like, what does that mean? So for those of you who, like Whitney, haven't heard of the vestiges, I will explain. A vestige of divergence in the world of Exandria, which the first 3 Critical Role campaigns are set in, were weapons created by the gods for mortals to use in the battle between the prime deities and the betrayer gods. These weapons had the unique property that as a character level up, the weapon would level up as well, unlocking new features and abilities. As well as being really mechanically cool, they played a huge part in the story. They were like legendary artifacts, and I have no doubt that the same thing will happen in this instance with Tyranny's knife. It's clear that Brennan has some really dark and messed up stuff in mind for Tyranny, and I can't wait to see how this knife plays into that. I did see some people asking if this means Ahriman is connected to Exandria in some way, but no, I don't think that's the case. I think Brennan was literally just using this as a comparison to demonstrate how powerful and important this item is. After speaking with Tyranny, Cadogan draws away from the group once again, starting to feel a bit uncomfortable with how close he's getting to these people, and he's angry and frustrated about how the fight went down in the dungeon, particularly missing with the Sunblind Bolt, and he chooses this moment to level up alone by himself. He calls Wulfric over and talks to him.
You know we can do better. It's been you and I for a long time. You're a good boy, but but you know we can do better. All the fights, all the pain, all the years. Come on. Fucking do it. Just do it. And the quiver on his hip starts to glow. This found relic from a battle a long time ago. One of our first. The runes on it start to glow. And in that moment, the faint outline of the red bolt that would never manifest and never come into being sizzles to life, and his quiver has an extra arrow in it. An extra bolt for the first time.
Cadigan does feel some pride at this, but it's so clear he's a very damaged man who is clearly pushing something down, despite being very attentive to the others and their emotions. You know, we've seen him have one-on-ones with quite a few of the characters now, giving them pep talks, giving them advice, but he can't seem to extend that care to himself. Cadigan, I can fix him. As they all drift off to sleep, Thimble watches Tyranny and Wick talking and is reminded of her early days with Thjazi, working out their partnership, and she feels jealous of them and sort of grieves what she has lost. Once Wick is asleep, she flies to his ear and whispers in it.
Thank you for, healing me. And also for not being a total dick anymore. And I'm mostly sorry I threw rocks at you. Okay, good night. Such a dick!
Thimble herself falls asleep in a patch of flowers, thinking of all the frightening and horrible things that have happened, but also remembering what Dame Morgaine said about hope. Thus concludes the first arc for the Soldiers Table, and I really enjoyed this story. They covered a lot of ground in the time that they had, and we learned a lot about the wider world of Ahriman. You know, we saw some glimpses into the factions and politics of Timony, and it's just so fun being in a brand new world, and like every detail being something new and exciting to speculate about. Like, I love Exandria so much, but yeah, it's just really fun being somewhere new, and sort of, it's like when the fog of war is over the map, and as they explore, we get to see a little bit more every time. I hope that we're going to be following the Schemers next, because I really want to see what's happening in Dol Makyar, and I want to learn more about the Sundered Houses and what Thjazi intended in his final words to Hal. So, fingers crossed. Oh, and in case you missed the announcement, Critical Role is launching a new after show called Tailgate, which it sounds like will be happening after each table arc, so not super frequently. But I'm really keen to hear the players debrief about this part of the story. I'm just really looking forward to it. And Whitney's going to be hosting it, so I think it's going to be great. I'd love to hear what your favorite moment was from the Soldiers Table in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And until next time, bye!
I have more experience eating ass than kissing it.
Okay.